Look, have you ever noticed how a woman can be standing right in front of you, laughing, talking, acting completely normal, and you have absolutely no idea that inside, she is thinking about you constantly? She doesn't say it. She doesn't admit it. And if you ask her directly, she will deny it. But here's what most men don't understand. Attraction, especially in women, is almost never announced. It's hidden. It's buried underneath behavior. And the only way to see it is if you know exactly what to look for. It feels invisible, but it's not magic. It's psychology. In today, I'm going to show you 7 dark psychology signs that reveal a woman is secretly attracted to you. Signs most men miss completely. Every single day, with women who were genuinely interested in them. Think about it. How many times have you been around a woman, thought maybe she's interested, and then talked yourself out of it? You told yourself you were imagining things. You told yourself she's just being friendly, and then, months later, maybe she told someone else she liked you. Maybe she moved on, and you realized you were right all along. You just didn't know how to read the signs. That's what this video is going to change. These 7 signs are not based on opinions or dating myths. They are rooted in real psychological principles, behavioral science, evolutionary psychology, and the documented patterns of human attraction. I've studied these patterns for years, and I've seen them play out over and over again, in real situations, with real people. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never miss these signs again. The first sign is something called psychological mirroring, and this is one of the most powerful and least understood signals in all of human behavior. Here's how it works. When a person is genuinely attracted to someone, their brain begins to unconsciously sync with that person. Their body starts to imitate the movements, the posture, the speech patterns, even the energy of the person they are drawn to. It happens automatically. She is not doing it on purpose. That's what makes it so revealing. Let me give you a real example. You lean back in your chair. A few seconds later, she leans back too. You cross your arms, she crosses hers. You start speaking slower and more quietly. Her voice drops too. You use a specific word or phrase, and 5 minutes later, she uses the exact same word back at you. Think about it. Why would someone copy your behavior without being asked? Because her brain is trying to connect with yours. Mirroring is the brain's way of saying, I want to be in sync with this person. I feel safe with this person. This person matters to me. In social psychology, this is called the chameleon effect. Studies show that we unconsciously mimic the behavior of people we like and feel attracted to. And the stronger the attraction, the more intense the mirroring becomes. Now here's what's important. Not all mirroring is attraction. Sometimes people mirror to build rapport in a social setting. But when a woman is attracted to you, specifically, the mirroring is consistent. It follows you across different environments, different moods, different conversations. It's not a one-time thing. It's a pattern. So, the next time you're around a woman you're curious about, pay attention. Not to what she says. Pay attention to what her body is doing. Is she moving when you move? Is she adjusting her energy to match yours? Because if she is, that is not coincidence. That is her nervous system telling you something her mouth hasn't said yet. And here's the deeper truth behind mirroring that most people never think about. When 2 people are in sync, physically, energetically, rhythmically, it creates a subconscious bond. Both people feel it, even if neither person names it. It creates what psychologists call felt connection. A sense that there is something between you that neither of you fully understands. She feels it too. She just doesn't know why. And that feeling, that unspoken connection she can't quite explain, is what keeps bringing her back into your presence. What keeps her paying attention to you when she could be paying attention to anyone else in the room? Mirroring is not just a sign of attraction. It is the first invisible thread of it. Another thing most people ignore. Mirroring extends beyond the physical. Pay attention to her vocabulary around you. Does she start using words you use? Does her tone shift slightly when she's talking to you versus talking to someone else? Does the pace of her speech slow down or speed up to match yours? These are all forms of mirroring, and every single one of them is her nervous system unconsciously reaching toward you. The second sign is one that confuses men the most, because when a woman is secretly attracted to you, she doesn't always make it easy. Sometimes she makes it harder. She might say something slightly provocative. She might push back on your opinion for no obvious reason. She might challenge something you said, or tease you in a way that feels like she's creating friction. And most men make a big mistake here. They back down. They try to smooth things over. They get confused and think she's not interested. No, what they're actually experiencing is a psychological attraction test. Here's the truth. Women, especially highly perceptive women, do not give their attention freely. Before they allow themselves to feel attracted to someone, they need to know, is this man stable? Does he have a strong sense of himself? Or will he collapse the moment I push back? And the only way to find out is to push. It's not manipulation. It's self-protection. It's a survival behavior built deep into female psychology. Think about it. If you challenge someone and they fall apart, that tells you something. But if you challenge someone and they hold their ground calmly, confidently, without anger or desperation, that tells you something far more important. It tells you this person is solid. I used to get frustrated when women I liked seemed to push back or make things complicated. I thought it meant they didn't like me. It took me years to understand that in many cases, the opposite was true. The women who challenged me the most were the ones who were watching me the most carefully. Now here's the dark psychology behind this. When a woman is secretly attracted to you, she is also afraid of that attraction. Because attraction means vulnerability. And vulnerability can lead to pain. So she creates small tests, not consciously always, but instinctively, to decide if the attraction is safe to feel. The man who passes those tests, not by being aggressive or dominant, but by being calm, grounded, and unbothered, becomes significantly more attractive, because he has just proven something she desperately wanted to know. He is not controlled by her opinion of him. And that is incredibly rare. So the next time she challenges you, provokes you, or says something that feels like friction, don't panic. Don't get defensive. Don't over-explain. Hold your position. Smile slightly, and let her realize what she already suspected. Because here is what she is really asking with every test she gives you. She is asking, can I trust this man with my feelings? Is he someone who will stay the same when pressure is applied? Or will he shift, collapse, or try to please me? The man who stays the same, calm, certain, unshaken, is the man she starts to want more and more. Because consistency under pressure is one of the rarest and most attractive qualities a human being can have. And the moment she realizes you have it, the test is over. And she has her answer. The third sign is subtle. But once you see it, you will never unsee it. She remembers things. Not big things. Small things. Specific things. Things you mentioned once, in passing, weeks ago, that you barely remember saying yourself. She remembers that you said your coffee order is always a specific thing. She remembers the name of the city you grew up in. She remembers that one time you said you didn't like a certain type of food. She brings it up casually, like it's nothing, but she remembers. Think about it. Our brains don't store irrelevant information. Memory is selective. We remember what matters to us. This is backed by cognitive psychology. It's called selective encoding, the process by which the brain prioritizes the storage of information it considers emotionally significant. And when a woman is attracted to you, your words become emotionally significant to her. Every small detail you share becomes something her brain holds on to, because part of her is quietly, carefully building a picture of who you are. She's not taking notes on purpose. Her brain is doing it automatically. Because to her brain you matter. Now contrast this with disinterest. When a woman is not attracted to someone, she doesn't retain details. She forgets what they said. She doesn't bring things up later. She's polite in the moment. But there's no retention because there's no emotional investment. So pay attention to what she remembers about you. Because those small details she brings up casually, they're not small at all. They're a map of everything she's been paying attention to when you weren't looking. Asterisk. And here's another layer to this that most people miss entirely. When she brings up something you said before, she is also giving you a gift. She is showing you that she listened, that she held on to it, that it stayed with her after the conversation ended and the moment passed. And the fact that she's bringing it up now, in this new moment, in this new conversation, means she wants you to know. She wants you to realize, without her having to say it directly, that you have been on her mind.
That is not a small thing. That is one of the most honest signals of genuine interest a person can give, because attention is a form of investment, and people don't invest mental energy in things they don't care about. Now the most important part. The fourth sign is the one most men experience and completely misinterpret. She talks about other men in front of you. She mentions someone who approached her. She talks about how some guy at work has been paying attention to her. She brings up an ex not in an emotional way but just casually, like it's relevant somehow, and most men think she's not interested. She's clearly thinking about other guys. No. That is almost always the wrong conclusion. What she is actually doing is jealousy induction. And it is one of the clearest signals of hidden attraction that exists. Here's the psychology. When a woman is attracted to you but isn't sure how you feel about her, she is in a vulnerable position. She can't simply say, "I like you," without risking rejection. So she uses indirect signals to test your emotional response. If she mentions another man and watches your face carefully, she's not telling you about that man. She's watching to see if it affects you. She is looking for any small sign that you care. A slight change in your expression, a change in your tone, a pause before you respond. Because if you react, even subtly, she knows you feel something. And if you don't react at all, if you remain completely unbothered and even seem slightly amused, that reaction actually increases your attractiveness to her, because it signals confidence and emotional security. Evolutionary psychology offers a fascinating explanation for this. Competition, whether real or implied, activates the brain's reward system around a potential partner. Both men and women use jealousy induction as a way to test and increase the perceived value of a potential partner. But women use it far more sophisticatedly and far more frequently than most men realize. Another thing most people ignore, the way she watches you when she says it. If she mentions another man and then immediately looks at your eyes, she is waiting. That pause, that watching, that is the real message. The name she dropped is just the bait. So the next time this happens, don't bite the bait. Don't react emotionally. Don't get quiet or cold. Instead, remain calm, ask a relaxed follow-up question, and let her see that you are confident enough not to be threatened by it. That response will tell her everything she wanted to know. Because what she is really testing is this: does he value himself enough to not feel threatened by competition? Is he secure enough to stay grounded even when I introduce uncertainty? If yes, her attraction deepens significantly. Because a man who is not threatened by competition is a man who knows his own value. And a man who knows his own value is extraordinarily rare and extraordinarily attractive. The fifth sign is paradoxical, and because of that, it is one of the most commonly missed. When a woman is secretly attracted to you, she either becomes noticeably nervous around you or she becomes unusually poised, controlled, and composed. Both are the same sign, just expressed differently. Here's the psychology. Attraction activates the nervous system. It triggers the release of adrenaline, dopamine, and cortisol. The body goes into a heightened state of awareness. And that state, that heightened awareness, expresses itself in one of two ways depending on the person. For some women, it comes out as visible nervousness. She fidgets. She adjusts her hair more than usual. She laughs at things that aren't particularly funny. She stumbles over her words slightly. She seems more animated, more reactive, more alert than she normally is. For other women, especially those who are more controlled or self-aware, it comes out as the opposite. She becomes very composed, very deliberate. She speaks more carefully. She is overly aware of how she looks and how she's sitting. She seems almost too calm. Both responses are the result of the same thing: cognitive overload. When your brain is processing an unusual amount of emotional input because someone you're attracted to is right in front of you, it affects your behavior. You can't fully control it. You can only manage it. Let me give you a real example. Have you ever noticed that some women will be loud, relaxed, and completely natural with everyone in a room, but the moment a specific person walks in, something subtly shifts? They don't become a different person, but their energy changes, their awareness shifts, their behavior becomes slightly more intentional. That shift, that's the sign. Because with people she is genuinely indifferent to, she is natural, unguarded. Her behavior doesn't change much based on their presence or absence. The nervousness or overcomposure is the body trying to manage something the mind hasn't fully accepted yet. So watch her energy around you compared to how she is with others. If there is a consistent, noticeable shift, not just once, but every time you're around, that shift is telling you something important. And think about what it means for a moment. For her behavior to change in your presence, for her nervous system to respond differently, you have to matter to her in a way that others don't. You can't fake a physiological response. You can't manufacture a shift in energy that isn't already there. She doesn't choose to become nervous around you. She doesn't choose to become suddenly more composed. It happens to her. Because of you. That is not something a woman can perform for someone she doesn't care about. And that makes it one of the most honest signals on this entire list. The sixth sign is perhaps the deepest one. She tells you something she doesn't normally tell people, not a big dramatic secret necessarily. Sometimes it's small. She tells you about a fear she has. She tells you something that embarrassed her once. She tells you something honest about how she really feels about a situation, more honest than she would normally be with someone she's just comfortable around. And the reason this is significant is this: vulnerability is not free. Most people, especially women who have been hurt before, protect their vulnerabilities carefully. They do not show weakness or softness to people who don't matter to them. It is a form of self-preservation. So when someone opens up to you selectively, in a way they don't open up to others, they are making a quiet, powerful choice. They are deciding on some level that you are someone they trust, someone who matters. This is called strategic vulnerability in social psychology. It is the gradual, selective sharing of personal information as a way of building emotional intimacy, and it is deeply connected to attraction. Think about it. People don't become emotionally intimate with people they don't feel drawn to. Intimacy, even emotional intimacy, requires some level of desire, some level of "I want you to know me," and she wants you to know her. Another truth: when she shows you this kind of vulnerability, she is also giving you the opportunity to respond well. And how you respond matters enormously. If you respond with judgment, with distance, with awkwardness, you will confirm her fear that opening up was a mistake. She will close back down. But if you respond with calm acknowledgement, with understanding, with honesty of your own, you will confirm exactly what she was hopping, that you are someone she can be real with, and that confirmation will deepen her attraction more than almost anything else could. Because here's the dark truth about emotional vulnerability. When a woman chooses to be vulnerable with you, she is not just sharing information. She is handing you something fragile and watching to see how you hold it. How you handle her vulnerability in that moment tells her everything she needs to know about whether it is safe to feel more. If you hold it gently, she opens more. If you hold it carelessly, she disappears. And the women who have experienced real pain before, the ones who guard themselves the most carefully, are the ones for whom selective vulnerability means the most. Because they know exactly what they are risking when they let someone in. And they are choosing to risk it with you. That is not a small thing, the seventh sign. And this one is beautifully simple once you see it. She finds reasons to be near you, not in an obvious, dramatic way. In small, subtle, almost accidental-seeming ways. She moves slightly closer when you're talking in a group. She chooses to sit near you when other seats are available. She walks with you when she could easily have walked in another direction. She finds reasons to extend a conversation, one more question, one more comment, when she could have ended it already. And here's what's important. None of it looks intentional. It never does. Because proximity seeking, the instinctive drive to be physically close to someone you are attracted to, happens largely below the level of conscious thought. It is driven by the same part of the brain that drives all living things to stay close to what they find rewarding. In humans, it expresses itself as what looks like coincidence. She keeps ending up near you. She keeps finding small reasons to extend her time in your presence. But it is not coincidence. It is biology. Evolutionary psychology tells us that physical proximity was one of the first ways humans communicated attraction before language was developed. We still carry that behavior. We still move toward what we want, even when we don't say it, even when we don't admit it, even when we don't fully know we're doing it. Now here's the critical distinction. Proximity alone doesn't always mean attraction. Some people are naturally warm and physically close with everyone. The key is consistency. And the key is selectivity. Is she physically closer to you specifically? Not to everyone, but to you. Does she consistently find herself near you, sitting next to you, staying a little longer with you, finding one more reason to continue the moment? If the answer is yes, that proximity is not an accident. That is her body moving towards something her voice hasn't named yet. And there's one more layer to this. Pay attention to what happens when the conversation should naturally end. When there's a natural pause, a natural exit point, a natural moment where both of you could go your separate ways, does she take it? Or does she find something else to say? Another question to ask. Another reason to stay. That extra moment she creates, that small, unnecessary extension, is her telling you without words that she is not ready for this to be over. She is not ready for you to leave. And that, more than almost anything else on this list, is the sign of a woman who is feeling something she hasn't found the words for yet. So let me bring this together. 7 signs. Mirroring, testing, remembering, jealousy, nervousness, vulnerability, proximity. None of them are accidents. All of them are signals. And here's the truth I want to leave you with. Most men spend their entire lives waiting for a woman to walk up to them and say, clearly and directly, I am attracted to you. And they miss every single day the quiet, consistent, psychologically rich signals that women have always been sending. Attraction in women is rarely loud. It is a whisper. It is a pattern of small behaviors, repeated, layered, and deliberately deniable, because showing attraction means becoming vulnerable to rejection. But now you know the language. And when you know the language, you stop missing the conversation that was always happening. Because the strongest position in life is not guessing what someone feels. It is seeing it clearly and choosing what to do with what you know.